It was supposed to be a quiet weekend getaway. Just 5 friends in a cabin deep in the woods of Black Hollow. No cell signal. No internet. Just trees, mist, and stories by the fire. They arrived late Friday evening. Rain tapped steadily on the windshield as Kyle parked the SUV in the overgrown gravel driveway. The cabin was older than they expected, wooden walls with moss crawling up the sides, a chimney barely intact, and shutters that hung loose like broken wings. Inside, it smelled like mildew and old pine. Still, it had charm. A fireplace, faded rugs, and creaky floorboards gave it a rustic character. They unpacked, set up sleeping bags, and made dinner from canned chili and beer. As the wind howled through the trees, Sarah brought out an old book she'd picked up from a thrift shop in town. "There's a legend about this place," she said, flipping to a bookmarked page. "They call him the Lantern Man." "The what?" Jake scoffed, already tipsy. "Here," Sarah read aloud. "In the woods of Black Hollow walks a man with a hollow face and a lantern that never dies. He appears to those who trespass after dark, and when the flame flickers blue, you're next." "Oh, spooky," teased Maria, throwing popcorn at her. But Kyle felt a chill. Not from the story but from the lantern nailed above the fireplace. An old rusted thing with a cracked glass pane and a wick long since dried. "It's just a story," said Jamie. "Let's do shots." That night, after they'd laughed, played card games, and passed out one by one, the storm rolled in harder. Thunder cracked the sky. Trees groaned. Somewhere in the dark, something else moved. At 2:43 a.m., Kyle sat up in his sleeping bag. He swore he'd heard footsteps on the porch. Heavy. Wet. Deliberate. He peeked through the curtains. Nothing but trees. Then a flicker of light. A blue light. Kyle pressed his face to the glass. A man stood at the edge of the tree line, barely visible. Tall, draped in wet rags, his face hidden under a wide-brimmed hat. In his hand, he held a lantern glowing blue. Kyle blinked. The man was gone. He turned around and the lantern above the fireplace was lit. Blue. The next morning, Kyle tried to tell the others. No one believed him. Jamie joked that Kyle had finally cracked from stress. But when Kyle checked the lantern, its wick was burned. Freshly used. That day, they tried to hike to a nearby trail. But no matter how far they walked, they always ended up back at the cabin. "It's like we're stuck in a loop," Sarah whispered. "Let's leave tomorrow," said Maria. "Just wait the weekend out." That night, Sarah couldn't sleep. Her phone, even on airplane mode, began to buzz. It lit up with an unknown number, blue flame. She dropped it. The screen cracked. At 3:07 a.m., Maria screamed. They found her standing outside in the rain, barefoot, eyes wide. She pointed to the forest. "I saw him," she whispered. "He was closer." They went back in. The lantern burned again. Blue. By the third night, Jamie was missing. They found his boots at the edge of the woods, pointed toward the trees, steam still rising from the inside. There were no footprints past them. Just wet leaves and silence. Panic set in. They tried to drive away, but the car wouldn't start. The road was gone, swallowed by fog. The trees had moved. They were deeper now. Trapped. Sarah spent the evening reading more from the book. He was once a man who lived in these woods. A hunter. His family froze in the winter of 1891. He lit a lantern to guide them home. But no one came. And he died, still searching, frozen in time. Now he seeks warmth. Faces. Light. Life. "What does that mean?" asked Kyle. Sarah's eyes were glassy. It means he's cold. And he wants us to bring the fire back. That night, Kyle didn't sleep. He sat by the fireplace, staring at the lantern. It burned blue. He tried to douse it. Water. Blankets. Even his own hands. It would not go out. At 4:12 a.m., he heard a knock. Just once. He opened the door. Jamie stood there. Soaking wet. His eyes were gone. He collapsed. From behind him, the lantern man stepped forward. The lantern glowed in his skeletal hand. A face half frozen, skin cracked like old bark. His hollow mouth opened. And the flame turned red. Sarah screamed. Morning came. Only Sarah remained. She walked the cabin in silence, finding Kyle's body twisted in the chimney, his face contorted in horror. Maria's coat still hung on the porch, steaming in the morning sun. The forest was quiet. Still. She took the old book and threw it in the fire. The flames turned blue for a moment, then died. But the lantern remained lit. A week later, hikers found the cabin empty. No bodies. No blood. Just a single lantern on the mantel, softly glowing blue. One of them laughed and touched it. That night, the forest had a new light.